This is just a really lovely, clean and fresh makeup look that you can wear every single day. I really love this look. It sort of just really makes your face look really fresh, really awake. You've obviously got a lot of structure and warmth from the blush and the bronzer, but it's nothing too heavy. It's a really soft glam, almost natural look, and it's perfect for the office, for the everyday, and perfect for those of you who haven't really done makeup before and you want a tutorial that you can follow. This is perfect for you. For that everyday clean makeup look, debatably, the most important thing is skincare. So let's run through it. I've just washed my face and you can use any cleanser that you have. Now I go in with a liquid exfoliant. This one here is just a dupe of the Glow Recipe one, Watermelon AHA and BHA. But you could use the Paula's Choice one or the little cleansing pads. This step is super important because it really preps your skin and just starts to exfoliate your skin, which is what you want for your base. Liquid exfoliants really break down anything that needs to be smoothened out, and also this just leaves your face as a really fresh canvas, and over time it really helps with the texture of your skin. Like the texture of my skin since using liquid exfoliants has really improved. So I'd highly recommend it. Once you've let that sit in, now I'm going to go in with a moisturiser. If you have dry skin, this is the best time to go in with a serum, anything with hyaluronic, or anything that's really going to hydrate the skin. I have more combo skin, so I actually use that one at night. In the morning, I will go in with a moisturiser. This is the Bioma Moisturising Rich Cream. This is a really good moisturiser. I really love this one. You want to use a moisturiser that is right for your skin. If you have oily skin, you're going to want to look for more of a gel like moisturiser, which is going to help control your oils throughout the day and is a little bit lighter on the skin. And then if you have more of a dry skin, you're going to want to go in with a more heavier, richer moisturiser. Hydration is really important regardless of if you have dry or oily skin. You still want to make sure you're hydrating and prepping the skin. Next is arguably one of the most important steps of the day, and that is sunscreen. This is the e.l.f. Wow Glow Untouchable SPF. I've been using this for a while now and I actually really like this. Sun cream is super important. Make sure you are using the correct amount. I find that this works really well under makeup and it blends in so nicely. It does have a slight shimmer to it, at least this one does, but honestly it plays so nicely under makeup and just really protects your skin, which is exactly what we want. Guys, make sure you are protecting your skin. It is so important. Even on grey days in London, I will be wearing sunscreen because it's so important to protect your skin. And then the last step in my skincare is any lip balm. This is just the Summer Fridays one, but it is so important to hydrate the lips, especially if you're working with product on top of them. So I always go in with a lip balm. Now I let this sit. This is the first thing that I will do in the morning. I will wake up, go to the bathroom, put my contacts in, then do my skincare. I will let this sit while I make a coffee and get changed, and then I will go into my makeup. So that is what we're gonna do. I let this sit, and now we are ready to go into the makeup. Okay, let's get this makeup started. So first things first is primer, and let's go through some primers. The Refy primer is really good if you want a really hydrating base, something that's gonna make your makeup very smooth, very blurred, but also hydrate that skin. And then I have these two, which are also ultimate favorites. This is the iconic Underglow Blurring Primer. If you want that really blurred, almost flawless doll look, this is gonna help you get it. It's perfect for those combo skin girls. And then if you want that makeup to last, you have very oily skin, your makeup tends to like slip and slide around, this Maybelline Grippy Primer, or any Grippy primer, is your best friend. So depends on the day. Sometimes I'll use both, sometimes I'll go in with one. I'm gonna go with the Grippy primer today. And I'm also gonna be using another one on top, which is different to the ones I showed you, which is one I'm testing out. I like to apply a pipette on each part of my face, and then I like to blend that in. You want to make sure you use a good amount of primer. There is no point in using a tiny bit because it's not going to coat your face properly, especially with a Grippy primer. You really want to make sure that completely covers your face. Now this is a Grippy serum primer, so there is some hydration behind it. So as you blend this in, it will start to get tacky and start to really dry down. And you can see the tack that's starting to form. Priming is super important. I 10 out of 10 recommend it. I know some people don't prime, but honestly it was such a game changer to my makeup routine and does really help me, particularly if you do have oily skin. I've been testing out this Vive Skin Nova Instant Radiant Primer. It's just a little sample I got. This is obviously for more radiance and glow, which is kind of what you want with a more everyday, I guess you could call it clean girl makeup. But I like to take it on my hand and just really press it into those areas which I want a bit more glow. So my cheeks and the center of my forehead. You can still see the glow from my skincare, and also there is a slight glow to most primers, but I'm just adding that sort of extra layer of glow and tack to the skin. We have that glow, we have that tack. Now, same with the skincare, you really want to let that sit for a minute. So I like to go onto my brows while I let my primer sit. So let's go on to brows. I don't do anything crazy with my brows. I just use a bit of brow gel. Here are some recommendations for some brow gels. This is a really great alternative for the drugstore. Very similar formula to the Rare Beauty one, which is this one here. Both incredible brow gels. Really love the formula of both. They give you that really nice, almost natural laminated fluffy brow. I like to brush the hairs, kind of backcomb them in a way. Just really make sure you're coating them and then brush them up. I like more of a natural brow. I just find that it suits my face shape best, but I still want them to have a little bit of structure, which is exactly what this Rare Beauty brow gel does. Honestly, it's such a beautiful brow gel. I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend the Maybelline one. Very similar formula. Obviously it's cheaper because it's from the drugstore or from Superdrug and Boots, and it just really holds your brows in place. I do have a lot of issues with brow gels not holding my brows, and I haven't had any issues with any of these. Make sure if you buy this Rare Beauty one, you are backcombing those brows and coating those hairs, because otherwise you aren't going to get the desired look and it is going to peel and go all weird on the skin. Just give you a close up of those brows, you can kind of see what we're working with. If you wanted to, you could go in with a brow pencil if you have some sparseness and just fill in that sort of sparse areas. But I tend to, on the daily, just leave my brows like this. Now we're actually moving on to, in my opinion, the most important step. And something just really brings the makeup together, and that is the base. My skin and base routine is the focus of my makeup. I really want a perfect base, a very even complexion, and that is just where I focus most of my time doing my makeup in the day on. I want that really clean, fresh looking skin. The best way to start that is by using a colour corrector. Now this is Huda Beauty's Cherry Blossom one. Colour correcting, in my opinion, is so important because you're building up that coverage on the skin. So I have pretty dark under eyes because I'm quite pale. So in the winter, my eyes get pretty dark. And colour correcting really freshens and brightens up under those eyes. And it also helps with using less product when you go in with your foundations, because you have something underneath which is already covering the discoloration. Like, it's very reactive, so anytime I touch it, like doing my skincare, it's going to get red. So I like to just go in with that colour corrector and sort of help cancel that out. I will always go in with a brush. This one here is from Beauty Pie. I think if you're going in with anything with a colour corrector, you have to go in with a brush because you want that product to be thicker. You don't want the sponge to sort of blend it out and diffuse that coverage. You want the coverage of your colour corrector. So don't go with a sponge because that's counterproductive. It will pick up the product. I take it over my eyes as well because they tend to get quite red, and I will just blend everything in. This is my favourite concealer brush, and I'm just blending that all together. Next is skin tint. So I'm not using foundation. I don't use foundation every day, but if you do, that's so fine. Go in with your foundation now. Start light and build it up. But what I am going to go in with is a skin tint. Now, if you are completely new to makeup and you have never used a base product before, I'd highly recommend going with a skin tint. This one is from Milk and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favourites. This is the Hydra Gel Grip Skin Tint. Now, even though it has properties that tend to go for more of a dry skin, it also has that gel-like consistency. So I find that it works really well for my combination skin. I will go in with a brush and just blend everything together that we have. I like to sort of start in more strokes down the face to really get that coverage. And then you can sort of build it up if you want more or less. Now this is the amount that I go in with, but that does not mean you have to go in with this much. always start light and build up. And I will take this all the way up to the hairline. Make sure you're really blending it into your skin. I like to go in with the brush again. It gives you the most coverage. It blends everything out, and then you can go over with that sponge and just sort of diffuse it in further. Your tools are also really important, so I would really recommend investing in a good quality makeup brush set. It doesn't have to be expensive, just want something with good quality and good brushes that are going to get you through a full routine. I will leave you some recommendations in the description. For the debate of should I go in with a brush, should I go in with a sponge, my answer is both. Honestly, you want to go in with that brush and initially set everything down, but going over with that sponge will help reduce any excess product that you don't need on your face, and also really airbrush it out and diffuse everything together. As I said, make a coffee while your skincare sits, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, let's go into bronzer. Now for this look, we're just gonna bronze. We're not gonna go anywhere near contour. This is a Maybelline Lifter Stick. I am just gonna start to apply that along my cheekbone, sort of where that cheekbone sits, along my forehead. I like to plop the tiniest bit on the outer corners of the eyes, a little bit around the chin. Cream stick bronzers are a little bit easier to place that product down and have a bit more control. You can go in with a brush and just blend over it. It's a little bit easier to sort of control the placement and the blend of that product. So if you are a beginner, I'd highly recommend a stick. However, if you're going in with more of a cream or a liquid, you just want to make sure you're really precise with that product placement, and you really want to build it up. Placement is really important, so even if you don't have these exact products or these exact formulas, just remember the placement. Now, the great thing about bronzer is once you've done it, you can go in with concealer and kind of clean it up a little bit. So I like to take my concealer, I look down the mirror and take the concealer along where that shadow is, just to help really sculpt the face. It also helps really distinguish where the lightness on the face should be. So I apply it between my brows, along that jaw, and then of course under my eyes as well. This is the House Labs concealer, one of my favorites by the way. I just like to take it along here as well to emphasize that lift. We really want the lift in the face, and a little bit around my mouth as well. And then I'm also going to go in with, this is the Morphe concealer, a really great one for both concealer and corrector. They have a really great, same line, really great formula, really great products. And I'll put the tiniest bit under my eyes. Now I know it looks like quite yellow and quite bright, but that's what we want. I apply the tiniest bit, and now I'm gonna let that sit while we go on to blush. If you couldn't tell from already watching my videos, blush is one of my favorite things. I love it, and I have so many that I absolutely love. Creams, again, they're a little bit of a thicker consistency, a little bit more control, because you can really place it where you want. And I really love the cream consistency, very similar to this Patrick Tar one. It's got the cream and the blush, so you are getting best of both, and you can pick up a little bit and apply it to the cheeks. Then you've got liquid. This one's actually really great because you have almost like a doe foot applicator, so you can again really press it down and you just have a bit more control. However, this one is quite pigmented, similar to the Rare Beauty ones. Those are very pigmented. Liquids tend to be a little bit more pigmented. And then we have this one from Rare Beauty as well. This is one of their matte bouncy blushes in the shade Worth. I'm actually going to go in with this today because I've been testing this out and loving it. This again is a matte consistency, however it's a cream to powder formula hybrid. So it starts off as a cream and will set as a powder. Very good if you have more of an oily skin. I will go in with a blush brush, just like this angled one, and just start to press that in to the cheeks. Starting on that outer part, I always will start my blush sort of here and bring it in. Now the best part about this is because we haven't blended in that concealer yet, if you do mess it up, the concealer will kind of help blur it out a little bit and make it less harsh, because you obviously need to blend it in. So I will start by placing this on the cheeks and the nose, and then now I will go in and blend that concealer using that same brush, really making sure we are emphasizing it in that one corner, and then taking it down and out. You don't want your blush to come in too far. Rule of thumb is keep it about a brush width away from the nose, and then I will just help with lifting. You can see it still looks a little bit harsh, so going with that sponge will just kind of diffuse everything and blend it all together. The sponge honestly helps everything melt into the skin and just look very buttery, airbrushed and soft, which is honestly what you want for the everyday. You want your makeup to look very soft. I'm just gonna go back in with that blush and kind of reinforce what we had. Am I blush blind? Maybe, but I love blush, so I think it's fine. And then I'll take the tiniest bit on my forehead and chin as well. And as you can see, that really just blends everything we have together. Now we've gone in with all those creams and all those liquid layers, we're gonna go in and set that all down. To start with, I go in with a powder bronzer. This is just the Hourglass one. It is very expensive, but I would 100% recommend it if it's in your budget. If not, just find a bronzer that works for you. If you are more oily, I would go in with a matte bronzer, whereas this one has a slight luminosity to it. But it's really beautiful and a lovely natural finish. And honestly, you are just going over where you put down that bronzer and setting it in place. This adds a little bit more warmth back into the skin and just sets down that product. It also kind of reinforces where everything is. Going over the top with powder, even if you have dry skin, is important because it just sets everything down and makes everything sort of reinforced. So you're really having your bronzer where the bronzer should be, your blush where the blush should be, and so on and so forth. Now, if you don't have time for eyes, I would take a little bit of the bronzer on a fluffy brush for your eyes and just blend over the top with it. We are going to go through a quick eye look, but if you don't have time and you're in a little bit of a rush, just go over your eyelids with bronzer. I highly recommend this step because you really want to set down those eyes because you have got product on them, and then you will get creasing and you will get oily eyelids because you have a lot of product build up on there. So always set down your eyes. As you can see, it just adds a wash of colour and sort of brings everything together. Now, if you've gone in with a cream or liquid blush, I will always set that with a powder blush. This is a really great one from House Labs. But any powder that is going to set that down is amazing. But we are just going to go in with a little bit more of that Rare Beauty. Because of this formula, it plays really well over the top of creams, powders, liquids, anything. So it's really great just to sort of reinforce that colour and pop a little bit more over the top. And the last step in setting everything down is powder. Now, I would recommend loose powder if you have dry or oily skin. However, the best way to apply it depends on your skin type. So if you have more of an oily skin or you really want to set that makeup down, you want to go in with a powder puff, just something like this, and pick that product up. The best way to do it is apply it into the powder, tap the excess off, that step's very important, and then apply it under those eyes and just really start to press that into the skin and set all that makeup down. You can see it's giving me a really airbrushed look and it's really taken away that shine, which is exactly what we want. If you have more of a dry skin or you have a more mature skin, I'd highly recommend going in with a brush, a small brush just like this one I'm going to show you. Something like this would be perfect. Taking that loose powder and following the same steps, but you're gonna take the product, tap it off and just lightly dust it over the skin. Powder is to set the makeup, so you do want to use it even if you have dry skin. I will go in and sort of dust that all off as well with this little brush, just to make sure there is no excess, because as I said, you don't want any excess powder to make your skin dry. You can really see the difference. There is not the same shine that there was. It's really just giving me a more dull airbrush finish. For the eyes, a little palette like this or anything similar is perfect. You have some shimmers, you have a brightening, and you have 2 deepening shades. This will be more of your transition shade, and then this will be to darken that up. If you don't have a shade like this, you can use it with bronzer, take a darker shade, and we can go from there. As I said, we've already gone in with that bronzer, so that's going to act as that transition. And then I'm going to mix the two today, but you always want to go in with a slightly deeper shade than the shade of the bronzer or the transition shade you used. And you're just going to start to slightly buff some colour into this outer corner using circular motions. And then to blend, I'm going to use windshield wiper motions. So just really blend that in. Just adding slight warmth and colour to the eye. Just a little bit of definition, a little bit of warmth and a little bit of colour, and you can build it up. Start small, build up. That is the key to makeup. And then I will go in with a shimmer or a light shade on the eye. Taking a brush just like this, I'm going to pick up that bright white shade and apply that in my inner corners. Then I'm going to take this little shimmer here, it's like a champagne-y pink, and just apply that to the eyelid, just to add a little bit of shimmer to the eyes. Taking that blender brush, I'm just gonna blend everything we have, and that is the simple eye look done. Next is mascara. This, in my opinion, is the best mascara on the market. I absolutely love this Kosas Soul Glazer, and I will apply a thin coat. You want your lashes to be separated, long, and have a lot of volume, in my opinion. So go in with a mascara that you trust. And if you have any problems with your mascara running, leaking, or rubbing off, make sure you're using waterproof mascara. I don't really have any issues with that, but if you do, the formula that you use is super important. Maybelline and L'Oreal have some great ones. Essence also has some really nice ones. They're also really well priced, so a good place to start. Now we've put all that together and all that time and energy into that makeup, we've got to set it in place, otherwise it's gonna come off. So, setting spray, again, very dependent on your skin type. If you have dry skin, you really want to go in with a dewy setting spray. If you have more of an oily skin or a combo skin, I'd recommend one of these. This is the Revolution Super Fix Ultra Matte Fixing Mist. I'm just gonna spray my face. That really just locks everything together. It adds a little bit more moisture back into the skin. And if you are using a dewy one, it also gives you a little bit more life, so it will blend in that powder. And as you can see, I just have a bit more of a glow to the skin, a little bit more shine, and it's gonna keep my makeup in place all day. After I've applied that, I will go in with 2 additional steps for the skin. First is highlighter. This is one from Rare Beauty in Accelerate. My all-time favorite highlighter. Honestly, it's so good. And I'll apply the tiniest bit to my nose. And then, if I'm having a particularly oily skin day, I will go in with a pressed powder. This one is from Charlotte Tilbury, and I will use that just under my eyes or anywhere that I seem to have a bit of glow that I don't want. And lastly, we're on to lips. This is the lip that I tend to go for. I love to go in with a lip stain. This one's from Huda Beauty in the shade Toasty Brown. It just kind of helps with the longevity of the lip, and it also just gives me a really nice wash of colour. Now I will go in with a lip liner. This one is from Beauty Pie in the shade Churro. It's this really nice pinky brown. This is my all-time favourite shade, and I will honestly just line the lips and make it a bit more defined from that lip stain. And if you want that skin just to be blended a little bit more, you can always go back in with your sponge at any point and really just diffuse that all together. And lastly is a lip gloss or a lip tint. So both of these are more of a lip tint, a tinted lip balm. This one is PBJ from Rhode. This is such a beautiful shade. And then this is a very similar shade. It's the Laneige tinted lip serum in Cinnamon Glaze. As you can see, I tend to go with more of these deeper, reddy pinks. That's just the shades that work for me. But I'm gonna go in with this Laneige one today. This one's a little bit more cool toned, but I really love this. It adds a beautiful shine to the lips and it's nourishing and hydrating throughout the day. So when I'm reapplying that product, it's giving me hydration and glossiness, which is exactly what we want. I think it just brings the whole look together. I'm honestly obsessed, and I feel like I could wear this makeup look for any occasion. So it's perfect for all of you that are just starting out with makeup. We are really just enhancing our natural beauty and our natural features on our face. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and that it helped you out. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or if you tried this look out, or if you need any advice, and I will see you in a brand new video. Bye.